We paid part of this, so this was left.
26 is left on the
Yep,
cruiser.
yep, 13
Oh,
on
the
voting
fit-outs.
machines.
I am?
Plumbing,
Okay, perfect.
yeah. So this is what we had expended out of what
Great.
they had approved, yeah.
I'm not afraid to wear them, Terry.
So that's what I,
Well, I knew there was some of these left, but that's
Yeah.
what.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, January 8th, 2024 meeting of the Litchfield Board of Selectmen. For those of us that have been here for a while and been in a paperwork session, whereas I came in flying hard, they've been doing a paperwork session, and we'd like to kick this meeting off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody please rise. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great.
I know, especially out we don't.
Up first, we get some good stuff to do. We're going to have the swearing in of our new police administrator, Mr. Daniel Jones. We'll turn that over to our town clerk, Terry Brian.
Remember you.
Make sure you say police administrator and not police chief, then we get those things, okay? And I'll make a statement later.
Yes, and this is your statement for later.
Okay, yep, okay.
Can she help us too?
Love it. Oh. You do it that way?
Do you want,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
go,
see?
yeah, just like that. That's perfect.
Perfect.
Yep, that way I can turn this over to
Raise your right hand.
the boys.
All right. Daniel, do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties incumbent upon you as the police administrator to the best of your abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution, the state of New Hampshire, and the ordinance of the town of Litchfield, so help you God?
I do.
Excellent.
Welcome to Litchfield.
Suits a little too much.
All right, I'm back down.
Welcome, sir.
Mr. Jones is starting his tenure as police administrator while he's getting his certification for the state of New Hampshire, and then he will be dutifully sworn in as chief. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Up next, we have a promotion, your first gig. Sergeant Dennis Tessier. Please come forward. Terry, you're hot. Hold on a minute. Okay.
Can I get to it?
You good to sign that? Okay, perfect. Oh, you
Can't
want
get
that?
to that.
No, it's this one. This is- Yep.
Dennis, raise your hand. Dennis Tessier, do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties incumbent upon you as captain to the best of your abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution, the laws of the state of New Hampshire, and the ordinance of the town of Litchfield, so help you God?
I do.
Excellent.
Congratulations, Captain. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a long time since framing, huh?
It's been a while.
Congratulations, Dennis. Well deserved.
You had to throw that in.
Construction
I
101.
think Captain Tessier and I met 25, 30 years ago when he was on framing crew with his dad, who I see here tonight. How are you, sir? That's awesome.
He looks familiar.
Great.
Yay, Dennis.
Framing crew.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get this finished.
Okay.
All right, can we adjourn now?
Sign them all. Official.
Call it a day.
Okay, you're up
day.
to the left. You want to do it first?
Thank you.
Thanks, have a good evening.
All right,
Well, that was quick.
and the crowd dies down.
They weren't here for us, were they? I'm almost there. I haven't figured it out yet.
Did you have to have access?
All right.
I had to ask permission.
What?
The agenda, I had to ask permission.
Yeah, mine didn't show up at first. I have no
All right, up first, we have review and approval of consent items. We have an AP manifest for December 26, 2023, in the amount of $172,529.40. And for January 2nd,
There we go. That's all I need.
that should be 2024, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve.
Right, of $58,590.66, and January 9th, 2023, in the amount of $173,725.46. That should also say 24.
Yeah, I just changed it.
Okay. Did you change them?
Changing it as.
Okay. We have payroll manifest for December 28th, 2023, in the amount of $68,587.37. January 4th, 2024, in the amount of $50,325.27. And January 11th of 2024, in the amount of $49,794.15. The treasurer reconciliation for November 2023. Boat tax agent agreement with Irwin Marine. 4 applications new, all veteran tax credits, RSA 72:28B. 1 application for new tax credit for service-connected total disability. And 2024 Town of Litchfield school payment art schedule. Have we seen that schedule yet? It's in the paperwork? Okay. That's what I get for coming in at the buzzer, right? Okay. All right, and we've already sworn in our police chief, administrator, and captain, soon to be chief. Does anybody have anything they want to remove, change, alter? If not, we'll entertain a motion for acceptance.
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Weber,
Second.
second from Ms. Queenan. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. Request for public, additional items, other business? Anything else? No? All right, public input will occur no earlier than 6:45 PM. Public hearing, we're here for a public hearing as well. Special one-time bridge payment pursuant to RSA 31:95-B, acceptance and expenditure of a special one-time bridge payment from the state of New Hampshire authorized under the passage of House Bill Number 2, effective July 2023, in the amount of $35,428.25 for the maintenance, construction, and reconstruction of municipally owned bridges. So, does anybody wish to speak to that that's here tonight? No? Okay, hearing none.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
We have a motion for Mr. Lynch,
I'll second it.
second from Mr. Gannon. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. All right, up next, we have approval of the minutes for December 21st, 2022.
Public hearing.
We will now close the public hearing at 6:39 PM. My apologies. Up next, we have the approval of the minutes for December 21st, 2023. Everybody have a chance to look? Any changes?
I do not.
All right, motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept the minutes for December 21st, 2023.
All right, we have a motion from Ms. Queenan.
I'll second it.
We have a second from Mr. Gannon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain, I was not there.
Okay, motion carries 4-0-1.
Abstaining also, Bob. I wasn't there.
Motion carries 3-0-2. All right, abatements. Map 16, Lot 11, and Map 11, Lot 41. Ms. Klein, what do we got? What's that?
I think we went over the acceptance of the new IRS
Yep.
mileage rate, which is right above that.
Mm-hmm.
So effective January 1 of 2024, the IRS issued a new standard mileage rate. I included a memo
Oh, shit.
in your consent form. We'd like to let the department heads and the staff know that they should be going forward using 67 cents a mile in agreement with the IRS. It's up 1.5 cents.
It's getting pricey to drive.
Fuel costs.
Yeah.
That's cheaper.
Do we have a motion to accept the new mileage?
So moved.
We have a motion for Mr. Weber. Any
Second.
second for Ms. Queen, and any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. Now the abatements.
Now the abatements. Map 16, lot 11. You have a memo in your consent folder from the assessors. They did apply for an abatement. There was a change in the bedroom count and some changes on the property record card, and the assessors are asking for you to approve the abatement in the amount of $63.50 due to those changes.
All right.
You want them separate or together?
Separate, please.
I'll make a
Separately?
motion to approve the abatement for the lot, or for the property at map 16, lot 11, in the amount of $63.50.
I will second.
We have a motion for Mr. Gannon and a second for Mr. Weber. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. All right, map 11, lot 41.
Yes, map 11, lot 41. It was found that there was a data entry error on the assessment card. The assessors have corrected the assessment card and recommend an abatement for tax year 2023 in the amount of $867.
I will make a motion to approve the abatement for the property at map 11, lot 41, in the amount of $867.
I will second.
We have a motion for Mr. Gannon and a second for Mr. Weber. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. Up next, land use change tax application, map 22, lot 14, in the amount of $52,063, and map 16, lot 46-4, in the amount of $18,000. Ms. Quinn?
Once again, there are letters to you from the assessors. The first property, map 22, lot 14, is a 39.7 acre property that has been improved with a farmhouse and miscellaneous outbuildings. They have estimated and used various properties to figure out the approximate value of this property. And they are asking for a land use tax warrant in the amount of $52,063 for this property be issued to the tax collector.
I'll make a motion to approve the land use change tax warrant for map 22, lot 14, in the amount of $52,063.
All right, we have a motion from Mr. Weber,
I'll second.
a second from Ms. Queenan. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. And the other one is map 16, lot 46-4, in the amount of $18,000. That's that one, Kim.
Yes, your assessors are asking, once again, for a land use change tax warrant to be issued to the tax collector for a property of 1.35 acre property that's been disturbed and developed. And once again, they have calculated the estimated value of that property and the changes made to it to be $18,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the land use change tax warrant for map 16, lot 46-4 in the amount of $18,000.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber and a second from Mr. Gannon. Any further discussion? Yep.
None.
None? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
Oh, then I need to finish that.
Get
What's
the other
that?
one, Bob.
Oh, the other one?
Three
Yep,
places.
this one, right? All right, up next, we have warrant article changes. Ms. Kleiner.
On last Thursday evening, the board, the budget committee made additional cuts to the operating budget for 2024. Most of these cuts were relatively small, 8,000 to roads, 1,515 to police, and then a small hydrants change that they had originally increased earlier in the season, and they took away that change. Most of these changes were so that they could recommend warrant articles, and
Yep.
come in under the cap. So that changed Article 3, the operating budget. And now the operating budget sits at $7,883,051. As you'll see, the Budget Committee's annual public hearing is this upcoming Thursday night, 7 o'clock at
Oh,
Campbell's.
okay.
We've had quite a bit of discussion back and forth on the process. You know, I think that the Board of Selectmen and the department heads did everything possible to get it under the cap just prior to going to the budget committee. It was about $1,500, but it was under the cap. The Board of Selectmen, we went back and did a whole review of the process this year, and through cuts that were made to the proposed departments and the mitigation of the health care increases, we estimate that the board saved over $400,000 before it went to the budget committee. So I think between the work the board did, between the work the budget committee did, and the department heads, we did everything we could to make sure that the Litchfield taxpayers are getting as much value as they can for their money. This will require you to revote that new amount. The tax impact did go down from 13 to 11 cents.
Great.
Yeah, it was quite the process. But I think the Budget Committee did a good job this time. I've been a little critical of them for being overly tough on the town versus the school, but I think everything's been good so far. I think they've done good work.
So Article 3, operating budget, presently reads, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and other appropriations voted separately, the amount set forth in the budget posted with the warrant or as amended by vote of the first session for the purpose set forth therein, totaling $7,883,051. Shall this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $7,874,828, which is the same as last year with certain adjustments required by previous action of the town of Litchfield or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 40:13, Roman numeral X and Roman numeral XVI, to take up the issue of the revised operating budget only. Estimated 2024 tax rate impact is 11 cents.
Is that your motion?
We have to vote on it, yeah.
We do. We have a motion from Mr. Weber. I take it as a motion.
I was just reading the article for us.
Do you wish to make it a motion?
Of course.
Okay. So we have a motion from Mr. Weber.
Second.
A second from Ms. Queenan. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
Second one is, the lease. The budget committee, Thursday evening approved the correct number. The number that originally came to you in, the end of December was a little over 26,000. This is due to the cost of the vehicle increasing and us receiving an updated quote, which caused us to go back out to the tax leasing company. So the $29,567 over the course of the 6 years is the accurate figure that the budget committee voted on Thursday night, but it requires a new vote by the Board of Selectmen.
I'll make a motion to revote Article 5, plow truck lease purchase, to see if the town will vote to authorize the selectmen to enter into a 6-year lease purchase agreement for the sum of $177,402 for the purpose of lease purchasing a plow truck with equipment and attachments for the highway department, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $29,567 for the first year's payment for that purpose. The first year's payment in the amount of $29,567 shall come from the unassigned fund balance and no amount to be raised from taxation. This lease agreement contains an escape clause. Estimated 2024 tax rate impact is 0 cents. Estimated tax impact for 2025 will be 2 cents.
Motion from Mr. Weber.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lynch. Yeah, putting in the 2025 2 cents tax impact, that was discussed at the Budget Committee, because, just so that people know down the road what it's gonna cost.
The anticipated cost. going
Yeah.
forward.
And that's estimated.
It
Yeah.
is
No, that's
estimated.
Okay, there was a lot of talk when the middle school project went on about listing the years, what it was gonna cost beyond the first year, because the first year's payment was low, and then the second year it doubled for the rest of the loan. And they didn't do it, and a lot of taxpayers were angry about it. So when the Budget Committee brought this up, it's the right thing to do.
And within this article, we do have a graph showing the 6-year payments.
Yes, which, yeah, but that was requested of the school project as well. It just wasn't put in there by choice of the school. So, but this is just, being straight with the taxpayers, So, that being said, any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. 6:52 PM. Why don't we open it up to public input? Or is there any more warrant articles? No, I thought that was it. I don't think there was.
Did we approve the,
I think that
so
was
you
it. We
have
did-
others that are coming? No, you did do the easement.
Yep.
But the
Yep.
last one has been held up by legal.
Okay.
Do we want to revote all the articles so we can at least have all 5 members voting? Some do not have all 5 of us voting.
The easement does one.
The
That's-
librarian does not have all 5 of us. The recreational spendable trust doesn't have all 5. Police contract does not have all 5.
The budget has it now. Human Services has 4.
It's 4, so I mean,
Do you guys want to re-vote them?
I'm fine with that.
So we have them.
Fine with that.
historically, we'd always try to make sure all 5 members
Yep.
have voted.
Okay. So we'll start with, we just did
We did
Article
3.
3. Okay, so now we need
We're gonna do
Article 4.
I'll make a motion to vote Article 4, Human Services and Health Agencies. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $22,350 to support human services and health agencies providing services to the town of Litchfield? Estimated 2024 tax rate impact, 2 cents.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber.
Second.
Second, we have a second from Ms. Queenan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. Then, let's see, we did the truck,
Next would be 6.
the librarian.
I'll make a motion On Article 6, additional assistant librarian hours, shall the town vote to increase the weekly hours of the Assistant Librarian 2 position from 8 hours per week to 24 hours per week, effective April 1st, 2024, for an estimated annual wage, benefits, and other related costs of $14,563, and further vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,696 for wage, benefits, and other related costs for the period of April 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. Estimated 2024 tax rate impact is 1 cent.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber.
Second it.
We have a second from Mr. Lynch. You see the not recommended by Budget Committee. This was a victim of the tax cap. They couldn't vote because it would have put them over the tax cap, so. Understand it. Some of us thought it was a worthy cause, but they have to do their job, so. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. Which one else we got? Number 8, Rec Expendable Trust.
Okay. I'll make a motion on Article 8 to establish a Recreation Expendable Trust to see if the town will vote to establish a Recreation Expendable Trust Fund per RSA 3119-A for the maintenance and repair of recreation equipment, facilities, and systems, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be placed in the fund. Further, to name the Selectmen as the agents to expend from the fund. The sum is to come from the unassigned fund balance and no amount to be raised from taxation. Estimated 2024 tax rate, 0 cents.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber. We have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Mr. Gannon. It was discussed, what is the limit that you're looking for, like, to build this up?
As a board, commission, we have not decided yet. We want to come forth at least with something to have a safety net there for it.
Okay. I said it was a good starting point.
Correct.
I really think it needs to be at least $100,000.
Yeah, we have to get there, but I mean, because the roof could use it all up on, but just it's a place to start getting that nest egg going.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
Also, looking back to the librarian, we didn't get to no's. I was a no on the librarian, so it was 401.
401.
410.
Oh, you voted no?
Yes.
Can you change that, Kim?
Sure. On the librarian, it's 410.
410. All right, any further discussion on Article 8? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. My apology.
Oh, no worries.
Mhm.
There was one person on budget who wasn't for it, huh? On the recreation? Yeah, okay. Though watching, I know.
Number 9.
I'll make a motion on Article 9, police contract. Shall the town vote to approve the cost items for wage and related costs that have been included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between the town of Litchfield and Council 93 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, which provides for the following increases in wages and benefits at the current staffing level, and further to raise and appropriate the sum of $42,012 for the current fiscal year, such sum representing the additional cost attributable to the increases in salaries and benefits required by the new agreement over those that would be paid at the current staffing levels. Estimated 2024 tax rate impact is 3 cents.
You said 8 or 3?
3.
3 cents.
3, yeah.
3 cents, yep. We have a motion from Mr. Weber.
I'll second it.
We have a second from Mr. Gannon. Any further discussion?
What does the additional information mean?
If you click
Oh,
on
sorry, I didn't click. All right, just did a drop down. I clicked,
Yeah.
but nothing happened. Got it. Okay, thank you.
And within this article, we do show what the cost impact will be for 2024, 2025, and 2026.
that, which declines.
It does decline.
Which is good. All right. All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. I have to remember to look to my left. Article 10, no, wait a minute.
Yep.
No, yeah, Article 10, police cruiser.
I'll make a motion for us to vote Article 10, replacement of one police cruiser, to raise and appropriate the sum of $70,000 to purchase and equip one new police model cruiser. Selection and purchase of said vehicle to be the responsibility of the Board of Selectmen in their discretion, if determined to be necessary and in the best interest of the town. Purchase of said vehicle to be competitive bidding. Estimated 2024 tax impact, 6 cents.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber.
Second.
We have a second from Ms. Queenan. Any discussion?
Originally, they were looking for 3 vehicles this year.
Yep.
They did buy one new cruiser at the end of this year.
Yep.
So next year it will just be
Surplus.
the one cruiser, and they're not looking
Yep.
for the administrative vehicle.
Yep, correct. All right. Any more? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
I see that one was not recommended, was there?
Yep.
It was just the cost of it?
Yeah, they were at the budget cap.
Budget? Okay.
Yep.
Fully understandable.
Yep. So, Article 11,
Why do we have?
highway worker.
Okay. No worries. I just saw that. I was
I know
like,
what this is,
I'll make a motion on Article 11, the addition of a full-time highway worker, to see if the town will vote to hire a full-time highway employee effective 1 April 2024 at an estimated annual salary and related cost of $81,294.51, and further to vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $48,971 for the wages and benefits for the period of April 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. The estimated 2024 tax impact is 4 cents.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber.
I will second it.
We have a second from Mr. Gannon. And that number for 2025 is worst-case scenario number, correct? You figured the health at the highest end and,
that is correct.
yep.
Health is at the highest end. I think that, this is using some really creative thought process in how we can save the town money by bringing in another highway worker, and taking on the cost of the cemetery work, and the library work in-house and having to no longer contract that out. We were happy that the budget committee supported it the other night. I think we all know that the highway department has needed a 4th worker, and the level of worker that we're looking for here is someone that can assist the road agent with repairs of vehicles, which they have been doing a lot this weekend. So this is a little bit of a higher experienced worker than normal.
Yeah, I think this aligns with Kevin's strategy of bringing a lot of the outsourced work and contracted work back in-house.
Yes.
All right, any further discussion?
I like how the cemetery trustees weighed in
Yeah.
as well. And
Yep.
the library still has
We
time.
haven't heard from the library.
They are, I did speak with the director last Friday after the budget committee meeting, and she's bringing it to them their next meeting to vote, so that we can record it.
This should help the voters see that everybody was buying into this.
Yeah, word is that everyone's on board over there, just, they need to formally vote it. Okay. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500.
12's with legal.
12 is with legal. It's
Yep.
pretty much been,
So it's 13,
Accepted.
the easement.
Okay.
So Article 13, the easement's the last one.
Yep. I'll make a motion that we vote Article 13, easement, to see if the town will vote to authorize the sale of an access easement to the Public Service Company of New Hampshire, doing business as Eversource Energy, across the property located at 13.5 Brickyard Drive, which is tax map 9, lot 42, under such terms and conditions as the select board deems appropriate.
I'll second that.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber and a second from Mr. Gannon. Any further discussion?
So just so everybody knows, this is basically the walkway to the Scott Innes soccer fields on Brickyard Drive, and it'll allow public service to access the pole back there.
Give them access to it.
Yep. So, all right. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 500. I think that's it. Right? Okay, good. So we're done with that. Up next, 7:05. Let's open it up to public input. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward? If so, please do. Yep, come on forward. Oh. Yep, come on up. State your name and address, please, for the records.
It's Grace LaPlante.
Hi.
And the address is 406 Charles Bank Highway,
Howdy.
CBH.
Yeah,
So I'm actually speaking on behalf of Susan Powers, who was not able to attend tonight.
okay.
Not sure if you folks or anyone had seen the Facebook post that she had done earlier in the week. It was regarding property on Bixby Drive, and there is a dumpster apparently that's been there that's overflowing. And additional folks are now seeing that as dumping grounds for additional trash and garbage. So the owner of the property does not live there, and from what I understand, the property has been condemned, and there is a security fence that was in place and apparently isn't really structurally sound at this point to keep people off the property. So the concern is severalfold. It's, would kids in the neighborhood have access to getting to that property, which has been condemned? But also the fact that the garbage is now starting to spill over and accumulate
Yeah.
on the property.
That's where.
So her questions are, what can we do about this? From a town perspective, you know, we're not sure where the garbage is collecting, if that's on private property or if it's actually in the town's access area. And would we be able to assemble a group of volunteers to go in and clean it up? Just the miscellaneous stuff that's on the ground. The dumpster company has been contacted, and apparently the monthly fee for that dumpster has been automatically paid every month, even though the gentleman doesn't live there.
Yep. And they don't empty it.
And they won't empty it because everything is scattered around it,
Yep.
and they don't have free access to it.
Okay.
So the question is, what can we do? It's an eyesore, you know. Her concern also too is this attracting rats,
Yep.
you know, scattered animals. We don't know what's being disposed of there.
Okay.
And so that's the big question. We'd love input, and we're certainly willing to
Yep.
jump in and help, but we want to do it safely and legally,
Absolutely.
not trespassing, raising any
Appreciate-
rancor with
appreciate
anybody in the
that.
community, but their neighborhood is very concerned about
Yep.
this.
Okay. Do we have Kevin go out and look at that, or what do we do? What are,
So actually, when I was contacted by a resident, I reviewed the file, and I reviewed it with legal counsel.
yep,
There was an agreement between the town and the resident to perform certain actions, which the resident did. It is true that the resident does not live there, but the resident has not given up ownership to the property, so the property is private property. After speaking with legal counsel, it is our recommendation that we do not interfere with the ownership of private property. There's very few reasons when the town would, one would be if it was being condemned, which was attempted a number of years ago, hence the agreement, and hence the owner living up to the agreement. The other would be if the property was to be taken for back taxes. So we certainly don't want to violate any private ownership rights of the individual. We have been informed that there are other people that may be dumping trash on the property. And I have asked code enforcement to issue a letter to a few individuals that we have determined maybe, that's all.
Is there any way to contact the owner of the property and tell him the condition and ask him to possibly have his dumpsters emptied?
We have a PO box, mailing address for the owner, and we can certainly send letters.
Yeah.
I would say that there will be action coming shortly. And I understand it's difficult, but I would ask that if the residents could hold on
Sure.
for a few months. The normal course of business will take care of this.
Perfect. And I think that's all she was looking for,
Yep.
was what's the next step to take? Because it's really becoming kind of a situation where,
Yeah.
It's been an ongoing issue for at least 5 years.
okay.
Yeah.
Can we
To the
confirm
point
if
we
the-
tried to condemn it, then we couldn't, so we had to go in and have things removed, fencing put up and so forth. So it's been an ongoing process over the last 5 years.
Can we confirm that the dumpster and the fencing and the storage container are truly on his property and not in the town's right of way?
We did have
all
the
through
road agent take a look at that,
Okay.
and it is. And those were all conditions in the original agreement between the owner and the town.
Past boards have gone through a lot of work with that property.
Yeah.
It's been in front of us a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that greatly. And I'll pass this on to Susan and just let her know things are in the works and just be patient.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah.
much. Appreciate it.
Anything else you need, give us a call.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you, have a
in.
good evening.
Okay. Bixby. Come on forward.
Good evening, I'm Win Van Mark, 2 New State
Hi.
Street.
Do I need
How
to
we doing?
recuse myself just for safety? Should I?
I
Should
would
I leave
recommend it,
the room?
yeah. You don't have to leave, I just wouldn't,
Yeah.
All right.
probably don't want to be at the table.
Nope. I don't want to be at the table. I can do that.
Normally what I do is I go and sit in the audience.
I can go do that.
Then you're not a visual or anything.
So, good evening, I've got 3 issues I'd like to bring up before you, please.
Sure.
So, 7 months ago, on June 12th, 23, I came before you with a proposal about events going on in town. I was asked by Kim Kleiner to please write up some regulations about that. And it was in reference to me starting a farmer's market, but it was also brought up in terms of this would be applicable to everybody. I wrote these up and I gave them to Kim, and Kim ran them by the town lawyers, and they said, everything looked good, please bring it to the Board of Selectmen,
Okay.
and that's what we did. It was, like I said, it was vetted by the town lawyers. And when I wrote this, I also spoke to the gentleman at the time who wrote all of the agri-tainment laws for the state of New Hampshire, and rewrote most of the agricultural laws. So my question is this, with issues that have been vetted by the town lawyers before in the past, why has this not had anything happen to it yet? Why is it 7 months later? Why is this being treated differently? Selectman Lynch said that he knew the RSAs that said that we were allowed to do this, but he wanted to investigate it because he thought that it should be regulated, at least the farmer's market portion. He wanted to investigate it because he thought it should be regulated as a supermarket, as he said at the time,
Yeah.
right?
Not what I meant is it's a market, okay? It's like any other farmer's market, they open every weekend, something like that. It's not really a supermarket. It's a term that I use, but it's not really a supermarket.
Right. So,
That's a
So-
long time ago, though.
yeah, so, but there's a New Hampshire RSA that says we're allowed to do this. And again, this was just one piece of one example of what would be handled under these kind of things. This was supposed to be for all types of events. It was supposed to be applied equally. Selectman Gannon also brought up this, said he didn't know about it, and that he kind of like cast off into the air, hey, so-and-so, would you look into this? Because you thought that it would be a good thing for the Recreational Commission to look into. Well, at the time when I was proposing it for the for work or for being done on my property. I had a location, I had insurance, I had vendors lined up. We were ready to go with everything. It's been 7 months. Has anything happened?
To my knowledge, this has been tabled for quite a
So-
while.
Multiple times, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we lost money. You know, the farmer's market, you know, didn't get started. We lost money. People in town who were signed up to do this, they didn't get to sell their products. They lost money. We would have been open all summer and all fall for this. The town has lost out something pretty big about this. This was supposed to be, you know, we're trying to get economic development going in town. Here's a real low-impact thing to the town. There was gonna be no impact as far as the town's concerned, basically, just have a farmer's market. Right? So 7 months. When will something get going on this? I spoke to the New Hampshire State Ag Commissioner, and he said that I made a mistake. He said that I knew that it was legal for us to do so, and we should have just gone ahead and done it in the first place. But I didn't. We tried to put laws in place and to play as responsible, reasonable community members. In the 7 months, the town has lost out, and I have lost out, and town people have lost out. Any comment by anybody?
What are we holding,
So-
why is this?
I think, number one, there's very specific, and these two issues are being linked together, and they are not linked together. So, there was the farmer's market ordinance which came through, which was indeed tabled by the board, and there was asked for further look at. But even the petitioner of or the requester of the legislation, when we came forward to you, said there were issues that needed to be worked out. So the board rightfully tabled it, rightfully.
Issue, okay.
So if you go back and watch the meeting,
Mhm.
I brought it forward,
Mhm.
and the requester said there were some issues that still needed to be worked out, and the board tabled it.
Mhm.
My concern here is that's one ordinance. Then there's another ordinance which is in the work, which has taken longer than I expected, and I apologize, but we lost a member of that team, a very crucial member of the team, the police department.
Mhm.
And that is events, right? So the board asked for a separate policy on events, and we've been working with Primex on
Yep.
that. We've been working with council. We've been reviewing policies from towns across the state. And what we came to realize, the police chief, the fire chief, the health inspector, there's a group of us, is that, yes, the town needs to have a more collaborative, jointed, and we've been having conversation, we've had some conversations with rec on how we need to work this. And I would hope that within the next 30 days, now that we have a police administrator and I can get him back at the table, we will have something too. But that's a separate policy.
Mhm.
That's on special events, that's things like the Christmas tree lighting that was held at Dara. That's things like the 4th of July parade. That's what the board asked for, and that's what we're working on. But that was in no way related, or is that team considering the farmer's market ordinance as part? They're two separate things.
So where's the farmer's market ordinance? Where we stand on that?
I'm happy to pick it up anytime. I'm not exactly sure of what the original concerns were with it. I thought it was in a pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You know, I did have Primex look at it, before I brought it to the board, of course.
Yeah.
I have no concerns particularly with it, but happy to.
Yeah. All right, can we,
So 7 months, I mean, the optics waiting on it with no reason as to not bring that forward, the optics, you have to admit, are pretty bad.
won't disagree with you. So can we,
I'd
Ch-
say
go.
that's something that you should deal with at another time. I've got a couple other things I'd like to bring forward, if I may.
sure,
So that was my first issue.
okay.
My next issue, on the December 11th Board of Selectmen meeting, I came forward and I raised some issue about the health inspections. I had two people here agree that they knew that health inspections were not happening, specifically at the recreational soccer and football and things like that, that there were some issues there. Question is, has anything been done about it? As you know, I've got together a petition, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And in going through that petition, I spoke to many people, and at least several people in this town have already spoken to the state health inspector about knowing that inspections are not happening here in Litchfield. So I have not gone to the state health inspector at this point, but other people already have. They have brought this to the state's attention. So, I suspect, has anybody done anything?
Hey, Bob, before we go on too far, remember, this is public input. We do not have to go back and forth.
Okay,
Just to, 1 second, just to reflect back on what, Mr.
Weber?
Nope, who was the chairman?
Lemire.
Mr. Lemire. It's public input.
Yep.
We can, but do not expect us to sit here and answer every question that you ask. It's public input.
okay, thank
All
you.
right, just to be
I
clear.
I appreciate that.
Yep. And,
Okay,
and that's fine, but I am of the mindset to let the people speak, so
Okay.
do you think if we can't answer something right now, we can definitely get back to you.
Okay, so certainly, I'd appreciate that. Another question, is the health inspector licensed to do health inspections?
Are we gonna start talking about a public employee?
I'm just asking. It turns out that there are qualifications for this, and there are state and federal things that need to be done. I'm just pointing this out, okay?
I believe he has a certification now, doesn't he?
So I believe that there is certification, and trainings that are provided through the state of New Hampshire. And yes, and I want to be careful. We also have a deputy health inspector who is a licensed paramedic. And I believe he is as
I
well,
think he is, yeah.
so.
Okay. A question,
Mhm.
you can look at this and get back to me at some other point in the future, of course. You did a background check. Was his background check submitted to the state health inspection office? Okay. Is the health inspector part of the town's emergency response team? So for example, if there's a flood, does the health inspector get brought up?
Yes.
He is a member.
Yep. That was an
Has-
easy one.
Excuse me?
That was an easy one.
Okay. Has the Board of Selectmen had annual meetings for the express purpose of discussing the health board issues of the town? That is a requirement, RSA 128.3. I looked and I haven't found anything where there has been annual meetings to discuss health and state of the health of the town. That needs to be done.
128.3, you said?
128.3, the health officer shall be the secretary and executive officer of and with the selectmen shall constitute the local board of health for the town. The local board of health for each town shall meet at least once every year and as frequently as needed to review the state of public health issues and concerns and provide information as requested to the Department of Health and Human Services on the readiness to address relevant public health threats at local or regional levels. So I don't believe that those meetings have been going on, and that should be addressed, please. Since he is also there, I would like to point out as well that the health inspector, as required by Homeland Security Presidential Directive Number 5, this directive requires that all personnel participating in emergency response activities complete 2 trainings: Incident Command System and Introduction to the National Incident Management System. These 2 trainings are offered both online and through the state of New Hampshire DOS. I think Ms. Kleiner alluded to that.
Yes, I've taken
Okay.
both. I know where they are.
Okay. Moving on to another question. What is the difference between a certified and licensed inspector or someone who is not licensed and certified? When our building inspector, is our building inspector licensed or certified for building, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, demolition, fuel storage, fire alarms, fire protection, and any of the state ones?
Follow up on that one.
Okay?
Thank you, Kevin.
As I understand, when the building inspector was hired, we did not have anything there. Have we moved beyond that at this point? As a citizen of this town, having a building inspector who may not be certified in all of these things, deciding and giving advice on things that he is not licensed or certified for, I believe opens the town to an incredible set of liability issues. Talking about what is safe for something and not being certified may also be actionable, unfortunately. I would ask that someone look into that, please. In New Hampshire, development is intended to be a collegial and collaborative action where municipalities are obliged to assist applicants through permitting processes. New Hampshire municipalities have a duty to assist citizens in application processes. New Hampshire Department of Building and Economic Affairs, speaking on the federal and state planning and zoning case law for the New Hampshire officials, updated on January of 23, page 72. Also going at the appeal of the town of Wyndham against the state of New Hampshire, case 2021-0473. Also Carbonneau versus Rye, discussing the function to provide assistance to all their citizens, as well as Savage versus Rye, says that it is the duty of towns and town administrators to assist people in getting things done. It is supposed to be collegial and collaborative. Just pointing that out. So, at this point, I'd like to bring up my third part, which is about the warrant article. Before I get into it, I'd like to say that 45 people have signed on this petition saying that they're not happy with what's going on with the town building inspector and the town health inspector. in going through this, I heard about, my situation we're all aware of with Tall Glass Vineyards. Let me tell you about 3 others that I heard that were even worse than us. 3 people who shall remain nameless because they're either in the process of doing it or trying to see if there's something else that they can do, tried to get accessory dwelling units put in so they could have their older relatives, mom and dad, move in with them. And what happened? They got shot down. They had to institutionalize their parents. They couldn't take care of mom and dad. You want to know who gets hurt in town? It's people who want to take care of their family. How do we let this happen to our neighbors? This is reprehensible. There's a person at the south end of town who had a relative who couldn't move into their town, into their house, until one of the current board members of the Board of Selectmen stepped in and took the situation in hand and got that situation taken care of. How do we get to this point where someone from the Board of Selectmen has to do that? Why did it require special action on someone from the Board of Selectmen to get someone to be able to move their mom into a house? Who's getting hurt? The town's getting hurt. Why is it that we have to have special treatment on behalf of some people and other people aren't getting it who need it? Gentlemen, you've said that the problem is that nobody's coming forward to the Board of Selectmen to let you know. But you've told us, several of you have told us that you know about these situations going on in town. And you know that contractors are no longer working in town because of having to deal with issues. Yes? We know about the issue that happened to Dark Hole Farm. I'll leave that alone. That's documented. We know what happened there. I tried to talk to many people who wanted to sign my petition. Several of them backed out at the last minute because they were scared of retribution and retaliation. They have projects going on that are not getting signed off for reasons, not good ones. We have spoken to contractors who no longer work in town, and several of contractors are now working in town without permits, doing things that would require permits. And we know that the number of permits going on or being pulled in town has decreased, with the exception of the ones which, if you count in the Dark Hole Farm and the BAE, the number of permits actually being pulled is decreased, but the work is going on. We know it's happening, right? Let me talk to you about one specific thing that I've had to deal with. So for Tall Glass Vineyards, I'd like to bring up what we had to deal with the HVAC systems. When we came to getting the permit for the HVAC systems, we were told all that we would have to provide would be the make and model number of the mini splits that we were using. We did that. Then the request was, well, we have to provide documentation that said, or we couldn't do it, we had to have our installer provide the make and model number and answer any questions, which we did. So that's the second time we had to deal with this. That wasn't good enough. So then the third request came through. Please show all your work. Show how you calculated that this would be sufficient to do the job. So that was done. It was the third interaction on this one thing. That was shot down. We then had to go out, and it was required that we get a licensed, bonded HVAC engineer to write this up and prove that it was good enough. So we did that. Fourth interaction. The building inspector said, not good enough. To my knowledge, the building inspector is not a licensed HVAC installer or licensed to deal with that. Yet he said it was not good enough. I spoke to another HVAC contractor, and they said, what you're being asked for is not what is asked for anywhere else, and that the equipment that we provided was more than sufficient to do the job. We had to have at least 5 interactions of one more time, one more thing, one more thing. Just to try to get the HVAC. Finally, we get to the point in August where the building inspector said, okay, you've been saying all along you just want to use natural ventilation. I will allow you to do natural ventilation. Originally, he was saying he was trying to have us have this extra equipment because he said it would save us money. He's not an architect. He's not licensed to do this stuff. He was just telling us what he thought. Should never have happened. Then he said, as soon as you're good to do this, you can now do natural air. I want you to resubmit all the HVAC calculations and start the process all over again. In over a year and a half, we got nowhere. Okay? At that point, we brought in our lawyer. And our lawyer was going to come into town and say, please stop with the one more thing. Our lawyer and the town lawyer got together and they said, okay, just take care of this one more thing and you're good, the HVAC. And oh yeah, by the way, here's 2 brand new things to deal with. So we were expecting to say, okay, we'll get one thing. We got 2 things thrown on us. Number 1, the fire detection system that we have, the low voltage stuff, 12 volts, which is not connected to the town. It's not connected to anything. It was already signed off on under the electrical permits. That part was rescinded, and he made us go and try to pull a permit for that and to have us have a brand new design for everything that was already signed off on. The second thing that was done was he said that we had to pull a septic permit and that we had to start over on the septic for our winery. We already had a state-approved, signed-off septic plan. According to NHDES, Litchfield is a town that does not require any local input. It's only state. So when the town building inspector was asking us to do this, he was asking us to do something we were not required to do. And I think that having the town lawyer ask us to do this as well is not a good thing either. So we're at the point where 45 people in town have said, we're done. We're tired of this behavior. So I put together a warrant article. 45 people signed it. I got it in time. I was kind of concerned about making sure that I would not get it in time, but I would have had over 100 signatures on that document. What's going on is bad. People not being able to take care of mom and dad in their own home is reprehensible. Asking us for one more thing. I won't state anything about that. That speaks for itself. Saying that we are going to have just one more thing and then hitting us with 2 more of them, one of them which is not required according to RSA 485, is not a good thing. You can look on the website for NHDES. They have a nice list of the towns that do not require additional input. Litchfield is one of those towns. So, correct, Kevin?
Nope, you were in there. Our setbacks are different.
Yep. So, here I am.
Changed it.
So, I brought a couple things to your attention. Thank you for listening to me. If I can answer any questions, feel free to ask.
I would like to say thank you for bringing it to our attention. We've heard of things, but it's been very vague. This is the first time this has actually come before the board.
I would, Mr. Gannon, Selectman Gannon, you haven't been here for the past. I will tell you that on 3 occasions, we have come before the Board of Selectmen with these concerns.
Okay.
Over the
So
past-
since I've only
Right.
been on not even a year.
Exactly. So for 2.5 years, we've been trying to fight this process. One of the Board of Selectmen last year in November said at this point, our only recourse was to sue the town. I spoke to another member of the Select Board who said, we don't know why you've waited so long and haven't sued the town. We have done everything we can possibly do to work with the town, to not put the town at risk, to not do anything against the town. We've asked for help, we've asked for reasonable things, and we get one more thing. The example I give with the heating and air conditioning is just one example of it. I'll bring up one other one that I brought up on Facebook. We were asked to provide the as-built, something that you provide after the building is erected, as a condition of getting the foundation permit. It's impossible. I have it documented in an email. The only thing I can assume is that someone assumes I'm smarter than I possibly am, and I would invent a time machine so I could go forward in time to get it done and then bring it backwards in time so that I could apply for my building permit to get the foundation. These kind of things are the things that we have been asked to do. Just doesn't make sense. We've tried to work with the town, but at the end of 2.5, 3 years, you gotta say, there's gotta be an end to this some way, somehow. Something has to change. I've said my piece. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
I'll let Selectman Queenan know she can return.
Just walking by would be enough.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to come forward? No?
I do know that there was one other member of the public who was wanting to come forward. Unfortunately, he's telling me he's caught in traffic. I suspect he will be coming before the board next time. I may be helping him out with his case as well.
Very well.
Hopefully, if he comes in time before the meeting's over, you might allow him to speak.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Being as there's no other members of the public who wish to speak, we will close public input at 7:42 PM. Up next, we have review of the 2024 budget process.
So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a document that I felt that we should put, out, so that people may review the process that was gone through by the Board of Selectmen. So, the board, through reductions, mitigation of health costs, and working with department heads, saved $408,742 during the 2024 proposed budget process. And that's the document should any residents wish to review it.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry.
Very good.
Tried to read everything before I came here today again.
All right, up next, we have
Sayak McKim.
Personnel policy approval. Ms. Kleiner.
Yes, so, at the last meeting, we brought forth the wage proposal, that we had discussed last spring. And I understand that the board, wanted to review it. You had asked additional questions, so we held off any implementation. We also updated this Appendix A, which is where the town's wage plan sits. It sits in the personnel policies. As you can see, I was very careful. I wanted you to be able to see the old document. So you'll see strike through the language that we propose gets taken out. And the new language would be in red. It was asked by the board how much this new wage plan would be in addition to what it had normally cost in 2024. So the interesting piece of this is, this past July, the board gave a 3% wage increase. And with the standard kind of being throughout the state of New Hampshire, if you look at towns and cities, they've been averaging about 5.7 because of the employment crisis. Of course, the state was much more, it was 10. But the board gave 3, but we never adjusted that $20,000 that is budgeted in personnel.
Yep.
And that wouldn't have been enough. So in 2024, because all those employees received a 3%, to go and give a 2% or a 3% on top of that, the 20,000 in that personnel wouldn't have been enough. So the difference between giving a 3% in July, which still would have required additional money, and implementing the wage plan is about $8,700. Going forward, we are going to need to adjust that 20,000 to be about 36 in order to cover the wage scale going forward. So that's what 2025 would look like. And it was interesting, it was brought up at the budget committee the other night that the school has done an increase for support staff everyone is trying to relate to the employment crisis, especially for municipal employees, right? We're all trying to adjust. We're all trying to bring these wage scales in line. You're never going to get in line with the private sector, but I mean, to some extent. And it used to be that public employees had great benefits. Well, healthcare, we've asked our own employees to take more of those costs this year. We've dialed back the buyback plan. So those health benefits are now pretty easy to find out in the private sector. And there's a number of retirement bills for the New Hampshire retirement that we're watching closely this year. A number of them, if they pass, will reduce the local portion. So we're watching those closely. We'd like to see the New Hampshire retirement system do something to adjust the issues that have been caused by past increases to different sectors of employees which has now made the fund underfunded, which is why towns continue to get hit. But we would like I said, we held off. The initial proposal was to start this January 1st and move to a calendar year. We'd like to do that. And we'd like to update the personnel policy, get this in line with 2024.
Thoughts from everybody?
I'm just gonna ask a question again for my clarification from the last meeting we had. There was money in a budget that we could use, right, that we did for this year, right? Okay, just wanna make sure I'm on board with the new fee here. Right? And I asked the question, how is that gonna be handled going forward? And what was the answer on that one again? Remember, so everybody got a raise, and I just wanna know how the budget was gonna handle that. That's it.
So great question. So in the budget for 2024, the regular operating budget and the default budget,
There.
because it's a sitting line item that's always there, is the $20,000 in personnel.
Yep.
That will be used.
Yep.
And then $16,896 of unanticipated funds that was from House Bill 1221, which reimbursed the town for retirement costs for these employees.
That was the
all
one time,
employees.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
2025, what happens? I just want to understand this.
2025, we would have to make an adjustment to the budget. But you would have had to make an adjustment to the budget whether you did the wage plan or whether you were giving
Okay.
2 or 3%.
As long
Either
as
way,
it's-
it would have been
Yep.
an adjustment.
It's in
Mine's gotta
the-
go
As long
up
as
and
it's
up.
in the budget,
It's been 20
and it's not,
I've
other
been on the
funds that we haven't spent yet. Okay, I'm fine, yep.
And speaking to the budget committee the other night, what Ms. Kleinen was referencing is the school wants to have the support staff who are on a 3-year contract. They're on year 2 of a 3-year contract, so they still have another year. So they want to basically, for lack of a better term, disregard the 3rd year that the people gave them and give them a whole separate amount of money, which I'm dead against. To me, you sign a contract for 3 years, you fulfill your 3 years, then you change it. The teachers waited, they got theirs. I didn't think it was appropriate that they brought this one forward.
When they go in the
Okay.
contract.
It would be like the police saying after year 2, yeah, we need more money, you know, it's just not, it's not what you do, yeah, it's not what you do. So it was, you know, it's kind of, I don't know what prompted them to do it, but, I mean, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think you live by the terms of your contract that you agree to, then you adjust it when you go forward with the next contract. Just my opinion. So, we'll find out how it pans out Thursday, when we vote on it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that's an excellent point. I didn't realize it was a unionized group.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
And
And
they're
I think
different
they
than the
only,
teachers'
maybe,
union. There's
yeah.
2 different
And,
contracts.
and so, you know, I have to say, I mean, and I understand the difficulties, and they certainly have custodial shortages and shortages in the schools that need to be addressed. But this is not a unionized group.
Yes, correct, and that's a big
And
difference.
that is a big difference.
There's no contracts here.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So it'll be 36 next year, but that'll be part of the budget.
We put it in the
You have
budget.
to put it in, so we'll have to
Yeah, so it'll go from.
lower
20
something else by $16,000 for the tax cap.
Yeah. So it'll
Or
go
I'm
from 20 to
struggling with that.
36,
But I mean,
and then 3% every year on that, so it'll be whatever,
Right.
3% will be the year.
the town's most valuable asset are their employees, so I think we have to go do it to retain our employees, get new help for them with, you know, openings we do have within the staff, so.
I mean, it's going to be you know, we lost a part-time town clerk. I have to say, one of the best employees, ever.
Yep.
And, it's gonna be very difficult to fill that position.
Yep.
Just not gonna find someone that can work that amount of hours at that amount of pay.
With a smile.
With a smile, always with a smile. Yeah, and you have very very talented staff.
Yes.
We're very lucky. Okay. So we need a vote on this, right?
To accept the changes to the personnel policy,
Appendix A.
Appendix A, and to move the annual increase from July 1 to January 1. So it'll be budgeted on an annual basis and included in the budget, which I think is going to help the budget committee, and certainly the staff. It's easier for us to budget when we're looking, okay, this employee is going to go to, this amount. The employee knows it, we know it, we can budget accordingly. It gives you a much more accurate picture of your employment costs going forward.
So, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of Litchfield Personnel Appendix A wage plan as modified, and we revise the start date to January 1st.
I will second that.
We have a motion from Mr. Weber and a second from Mr. Gannon. Well done, by the way.
Trying to think of how I was gonna word it.
Glad you did it, because I couldn't.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0-0. Alrighty. Up next, we have Town Administrator and Selectmen reports, unless I'm missing anything else. Okay.
No,
Good.
so I think, Karen and I both looked at the amount.
Are you leaving now? She got a raise, she's good.
I got the information I needed from a part-time person.
Have a great night.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
night. Be well,
Hi,
Terry.
Terry.
Could have said that earlier.
We just wanted to make sure that we were still in line with the unspent amount of funds that will go to unassigned. And we are tracking right in line, if not a little bit more. So approximately 430 is what we estimate after what we've got in the few encumbrances we have left to pay. So we just wanted to make you aware of that. Penachuk. So I saw there was quite a bit of discussion on Penachuk this weekend on social media. The residents, probably all of them that are on Penachuk Water, would have received a letter.
Yep.
According to that letter, their monthly charge would be increasing and their volume charge would be decreasing, which would result in a decrease in their monthly bill. Okay. Everybody don't get too excited.
We know where this is going.
Yes. So, there's a number of things that are happening. There's two cases in front of the PUC. 088, which is the proposed rate change that was being done before the consolidation, the proposed rate change for 2023. Then there's case 101, which is the consolidation. The Department of Energy interjected with 088 and put the proposed increases on hold. So that's on hold. Then they came back on 101 and said that they have concerns and issues about the lawfulness of the consolidation. So, the original hearing that was going to be in January on 088 is held. That won't take place as far as we know at this moment. But there is that was a motion to dismiss. That we believe is not happening. Now it's a new pre-hearing conference on February 6th at the PUC. And that is a public meeting It's open to anyone. I intend to be there, and I think that anybody who's really interested in this, they are trying to get it, by Zoom or some other mobile case, and we'll keep you, up to date on that in case there is some way that people can join remotely. We'll try to get that information for people. But there's 2 cases, and it's very hard. There's motions being filed on each of them, weekly, so our lawyers are watching it, and we're all staying abreast.
But the letter the citizens got recently are really dependent on these 2 things going through.
Yes. Yes. And, you
Anybody
know,
hear that?
so at the bottom of the letter, it said there'll be a hearing. That's the February 6th hearing. It finally got set, and, you know, the PUC, the Department of Energy, everyone has to weigh in on this, as well as towns that are now petitioning to intervene, and you have to petition to intervene by January 19th. So,
And we're doing that, right?
yes, and I confirmed that with legal today. So there's that. The website survey, I, put a draft. I asked John to take a look at it, and if he has some concerns, we'll make some changes. But we're gonna issue that website survey to get some feedback on what our residents think is important. And the team has already met and had our first session with Civic Plus. Stormwater post-construction ordinance, I sent to planning staff today, and so CEI is done with their portion, and the planning board will take over with that. The New Hampshire Emergency Notification System, Genesis, you may have gotten texts a few weeks back. The state went to a new system. The town of Hollis, interestingly enough, they adopted the new system and changed from Code Red. The town has a contract with Code Red that automatically renews January 1st. We would have had to supply 90 days notice to get out of that contract. Between the state system, Genesis, which they will let us sign up for and work through, and we can get to know it, we can understand it, and the Civic Plus new instrument that we will have through them of notification, I think we're gonna be covered for both non-emergency notifications and the state emergency notification system, which is really quite good. And the fire chief, Doug Nichols, been looking it over, and talking with, Hollis on it. I think we provide Code Red notification, so we don't miss another chance.
Until the other
that-
2 are completely.
Yeah,
rolled out.
so, I mean, we'll pay the 5,000 because we're under obligation to do that for 2024, but let them know right off the bat that we have no intent to renew, so we don't miss it. And we'll get up to date and bring you more information on Genesis. So next meeting, we will, look at having 2 public hearings, one on a stormwater ordinance and one on the acceptance of the state clean fleet for our new $299,000 plow. We will issue notification of that. State, oh, this came out a little crazy. My apologies for the spacing issues on this. House Bill 1002. This is about towns that receive large record requests. As it stands now, the town really has no way to recoup for that staff time Remember, you can charge for actual documents or copies of documents, whatever your existing selectman policy is. This has been put forth by NHMA and a few towns that have received record requests for thousands and thousands and thousands of documents, which has resulted in staff costs, and they're trying to put some monetary figure to that. Don't know if it'll go anywhere, but the NHMA has reached out and let us know about it. Then House Bill 1086, that is interesting because that would change the requirements for the zoning board. The zoning board would no longer have to publish in a newspaper. They're one of the only ones that really needs to still. This would allow use of the website. So that's a savings, that's a cost savings. I think it's a good thing, so we're hoping that will pass. 1479 is a concern, and I have drafted a letter and I asked for the selectmen's support on issuing this letter to the House. It's the Municipal and County Government Committee. I want to say, to start off, obviously House Bill 1479, if I'm asking for your support, is not drafted or supported by one of our existing state representatives. I want to put that out there. Our concern with this bill is it takes away the town's ability to be a member of NHMA. The town would no town or city would be able to spend public funds for a membership on any entity that goes and lobbies on our behalfs.
We have to retire, okay.
The issue with that is the NHMA never goes and speaks in front of the legislature or anyone else on their own opinions. There's a process. So various members of town administrators and New Hampshire GFOA, the finance administrators, and we all weigh in on these bills. We all have the opportunity to weigh in on these bills. And I always have the opportunity to come forth, and the selectmen could always say, there's such and such bill at the State House, and we want to weigh in on that, and I would contact NHMA, and we could do that. Not only does it take away our right to become a member, if me, well, it's not quite clear who, me, Karen, Heather, all of you who signed the warrant, pay it, we would be guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. And we could be sued by a resident, a taxpayer. Personally. It's a crazy bill.
Can you give us a copy of this bill, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
And absolutely. It's,
Also, the other bills, if you have them, so we can all read them, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, actually,
Thank you.
I'll send this to you, which is their bulletin.
Yeah, just email it to us. Knowing both of our town legislators in Concord, I can reach out to both of them and ask them their opinions on this too, see where they're coming from.
They are not sponsors of it. I
Yeah.
did check that.
Yeah.
And neither are they on the committee.
Yeah.
We have no representatives from Litchfield on this committee that's hearing this bill. And then 436 is the bill that I was just speaking about that we're hoping gets passed, which puts money from the state budget into the unfunded liability in the retirement. which would save towns and cities considerable amount of money, so everyone's watching that one, very closely. And we certainly hope that will pass, and that's it.
Well, this is a lot. Yeah. This is the time of year, Bob.
Yep. Let's see. Selectmen reports, if I can get my computer to work. Here we are. Mr. Weber, Rec Commission.
We did not have our second meeting in December since it was the day after Christmas. So our next meeting is tomorrow evening.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Gannon, Heritage Commission.
We meet tomorrow afternoon as well, over at the community room at the fire station.
Awesome, okay, thank you. Mr. Lynch, Conservation and Emergency Management, School Facilities.
School facilities, we're gonna meet on Wednesday in the afternoon. It seems like there's been alterations to a plan. I received that today. As for conservation, we met this week. I tried to stay in the back row. You didn't see me in the pictures, to stay away from everybody.
Mm.
I just know Steve's had it, so that's why I'm sitting beside him. No, but, we talked about the stuff they've done, all the checking of the parks and everything else, and according to the snow gauge at, Moore's Falls, there's a grand total of 4 inches of snow. That's what it said. They took a picture of it.
You can add about 12 to that.
That's what I was shoveling this morning.
And all in all, we talked about, certain things regarding getting into fishing season, getting all these, the springtime stuff all coming into play.
It's got a full board now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
alternates.
full
Full
board.
board, nice.
I don't vote because it's so full. There's 7 of them, I think, did.
You're supposed to vote, aren't you?
I know.
Aren't you a voting member?
I'm
you
a
have
voting
to.
member.
Yeah, you have to vote.
Steve forgot, the chairman forgot about me on one vote. Jason, sorry, Steve. I just sit back and raise my hand, say hi.
All right.
As for the Heritage, emergency manager, I have not seen anything or heard anything.
It's a good thing. Okay, very good. Kim Queen,
Kim Queenan.
all things.
No, that sounded like all things over there tonight. I'll start with the planning board because it might involve,
Yep.
and actually John's here too, might involve a new meeting. Planning board, we are still reviewing our zoning ordinances. I think they're in okay shape. We have a public hearing that might have to be set up for January 29th. But you know that. For the MS4, maybe the vote on the zoning ordinance side and any other ordinances that we have. Dark Hole Farm was in with a conceptual design about removing the older home. So we are waiting for an actual site plan on that, and at that point, Heritage Commission will then run their process. Next meeting for the planning board will be January 16th, 7 p.m. here at the town hall. Capital Improvement Planning Commission, we don't meet until after the town elections. NRPC, we meet next time, our full commissioner meeting, March 20th, 2024. We do meet monthly anyway, but as far as the full commission, the executive committee meets monthly, but the full commission is in March. I already gave an update last time, but we did review the 5 and 20-year transportation plans. The 10-year plan, we are still on it for Dark Hole Farm, 3A intersection. And strategy and vision went through the full commission, and a couple of small edits are being made, and hopefully we'll have that in March.
Hope Steve feels better.
Who? Steve?
Steve
Oh.
feels
Let's see, Economic Development Committee, we are next meeting January 31st, 6:30 PM here at the Town Hall. We have met, we had, I think, a full meeting, maybe a couple members not there, but we did have Jay there as well. I think you were there as well, I believe, right? So we're working on a economic survey for the town to see what the town has a vision for economic development first. Energy Committee, you saw the warrant article here tonight.
Yep.
We meet again January 24th, 6 PM at the Town Hall. And, let's see, I think we already covered the MS4 zoning ordinances. You are working at the Board of Selectmen level, and the planning board will work on their ordinance at their level. And I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good.
Short week, short month.
Holidays.
Yeah.
It's a winter season.
And the budget committee met last Thursday, voted on town warrants, as you saw tonight. The only ones that weren't approved were the police cruiser and the library hours. Other than that, they were able to support everything. The budget cap gets us every year, but it's nice to have one of the cruisers back in the budget, whereas there used to be two, 1, 2. Hopefully, at least we can start doing maybe one a year from here on forward, so. And we meet again Thursday night. It's gonna be a busy night at the Campbell High Auditorium.
So,
Huh?
that's a school budget?
That's school, yeah, I believe it's a bond hearing and a bond meeting, and then a
School board meeting.
school board meet, and then a budget committee meet, so,
Well, where are you gonna be?
yep, bring my pillow. It's nap time. We go on last,
At my
so,
point.
after everything else. So, where we'll vote on the, school warrants. So, all right. Is there anything else anyone has tonight? Yes, please.
I'm gonna probably hand it off to Kim Kleiner, but
you
just
got?
about mentioning the Mike French.
Oh.
But you were
yes.
probably gonna do that anyway, so.
No, I wasn't, go ahead.
Oh,
Please.
well, I didn't know if we wanted to say anything as a board.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you- all right. Yeah, for those in town that don't know, Christmas Eve, we lost our interim police chief, Mike French, who passed away rather suddenly. It's a tremendous loss. I know, Kim, you went to the wake as I did. I don't know if anybody else did, but there was quite the turnout. It took me over 45 minutes to get in the building. That's,
Had to get in line.
yep. And talking to family members, it was clear that in his short time here, he really liked this town. When I told them I was from Litchfield, they all just kind of lit up. So he really liked this town. It made an impression on him, and it's quite a statement, you know. He's quite a guy, and he's going to be missed.
Odd thing of this, Mike French, I met him years and years ago. My sister dated him once. That's how far back. Oh, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Very
Small
good.
world.
And you didn't recuse yourself?
I remember.
Very good. Yeah, but condolences to his family, and very sad.
That's what I had.
Okay,
That's all I had.
good. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, very good.
There's a big thing on Channel 9, I should say, in the newspaper and
Yeah.
on the webpage about that the police arranged. The whole thing was
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yep, it was very nice.
I stayed away because
Mhm.
It was remarkable.
Yeah, it was. It was
He
very
will
good.
be missed.
Mm. Yep.
The fire department brought this over, and I forgot to mention this during,
Yeah.
so Greenwood every year puts out a calendar,
Mhm.
and they send it to all the fire departments.
Don't tell me Doug's on another calendar.
No, but
With clothes on,
Litchfield
please.
is the month of December.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
That's the truck that we bought, so.
Beautiful.
Most of the others are all, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
So Litchfield is one of the only.
yep. Can we hang that in here?
Oh,
Because
you
we
should
don't have a
hang it.
calendar. in here.
Absolutely, we can. We
Right
can
behind
hang
you.
it.
Keep it on December.
goes right
The old
behind
calendar, the old calendar's right there.
And then,
It was-
we did
enough to
try to
see it.
get to the sign out front, but
Mhm.
the 4 inches of snow got in our way.
Did you do it at the town incinerator?
The town hall is closed on Monday.
Yes.
January 15th.
Oh, that's
for
right, MLK
civil
Day, yep,
rights.
yep.
So, just to remind people,
Very good, thank you.
so,
All right, is there anything else?
who's January? Cumberland, Rhode Island.
All right, that will do it for the public portion of our program tonight. We do have one item in non-public under RSA 91 dash A semicolon 3, comma 2, C in parentheses, matters which, if discussed in public, would likely adversely affect the reputation of any person other than a member of the public body itself unless such person requests an open meeting. This exception shall extend to any application for assistance or tax abatement or waiver of a fee, fine, or other levy if based on inability to pay or poverty of the applicant. Do we have a motion to go into non-public?
So moved.
Motion from Mr. Weber,
I'll second it.
second from Mr. Gannon. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 500. We're going into non-public at 8:19 PM. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Oh, my husband said it was getting really sort of right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, watch it going out the parking lot, because I noticed.